Solomon, please.
So most people eat it.
Name and address for the record.
753 Stairwell Road, Wimble,
Speak into that microphone.
753 Stairwell Road, Wimble, Pennsylvania.
Thank you.
Thanks for the opportunity to speak this evening. As I mentioned, my name is David Solomon. My family and I have operate municipal recovery recycling on 500 Stanton Street in Woodbury. We've been handling the city's commingled recyclables since November of '07. We were in negotiations very briefly prior to that, but we were left out of any bidding process if there was one. The contract in late November, or in late of '07, the contract was awarded to Northeast Cartage of Hanover Township, despite them having no equipment or experience in handling commingled recyclables. After approximately a month, we were approached by Northeast Cartage / Northeast Recycling Solutions. We were approached and asked if we would handle the city's trucks directly, the city's material, and send them the weight slips at the end of the day. And we've been paying Northeast Recycling market rate for the city's material ever since November of '07. This past September of 2010, I approached Mr. Ryan in the clerk's office, explained the situation that we were handling the city's commingled material through a third party, and that we would love an opportunity to deal directly with the city. He referred me to Mr. Fradi, Coach Fradi, and I explained the situation to him. He explained that he had a meeting later that evening with Mayor Layton and Ms. McCormick, a senior meeting, and that once he determined the expiration date, that I would be contacted and we would be given an opportunity to bid or be part of the negotiations. Approximately two weeks later, I stopped in Ms. McCormick's office, explained the situation directly to her, and I was given the same answer that I would be contacted with the expiration date and given an opportunity to bid on the material. I continued contact with Mr. Fradi through September, October, and November of 2010. And the first week of December, I sat down with Mr. Fradi, and he suggested I write a proposal with what we can offer the city. And he would arrange a meeting with Bill Minsko and Tim Henry for that next week. This was the first week of December. On December 9th, I received a phone call from Ms. McCormick. She apologized, but had mentioned that an agreement had already been signed on October 14th of 2010, and that was it. It was already signed for 5 years. 2 weeks ago, I filed a right to know for the current contract and the contract prior to the October 14th agreement. Unfortunately, according to the city, they were unable to locate the agreement prior to this, which, excuse me for being skeptical for that explanation. But the current agreement, after reviewing it, is absolutely, well, let's just say that it's obvious no negotiations were made prior to it. The agreement for newspaper cardboard mix left thousands of dollars on the table monthly, without question.
You have a little less than a minute. So
Okay.
you can-
And
you wanna finish
the
up?
agreement for the commingled recyclables was $500 a month. Just to give you an idea, for the last month, March 15th, we cut a payment for Northeast Recycling Solutions of $1,956 for the month of February, the material for the month of February. They in turn paid the city $500, leaving $1,456, $1,456.75 for their profit, doing no work whatsoever. I'm currently waiting on more information. I recently filed 2 more right to knows, and I look forward to bringing
recused only. Michael Haydock, please. State your name and address for the record.
My name is Mike Haddock. I live at 701 First Street in Boca.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'm just gonna read. I sent out a registered letter. I don't know if y'all got it. It was certified, picked it up on the 17th. It was the city council, the mayor, and the solicitor. I'll just read exactly what happened to me here.
You know you have a 5-minute limit.
I'll be done.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, my name's Mike Haddock, and I started working in my family masonry business in 1969. I have extensive knowledge in the field of masonry. I taught for the PA Department of Forestry, and I produced a video on my work. On the 28th of February, I left a message at the contractor's licensing office to inquire about licensing, and I received no reply. So on March 1st, I went to the office and asked Patty for all the information I would need to get a license in Wilkes-Barre. She said she doesn't have it. I said, I want to be able to compete with the regular people in Wilkes-Barre, everybody else that has a license. She says, well, you have to take a test on March 26th. He says, it's not reasonable for me not to be able to compete with every other contractor. I should be able to take a test when I want to take a test. She says, well, in this case, you can take a test and, take a test any day in some place in Montage, and she gives me a phone number. So when I got home, I called up the phone number, and it's a teleprompt in Minnesota. So the teleprompt tells me to go to the internet site, but I can't find it because there's different testing areas. So I call her up again, and she gives me the correct spelling, and I said, do you have the phone number? She said, sorry, that's the only phone number she got. So she gives me the proper spelling to Perseview, so I get on the phone, and I call the number in this grand phone book, and I leave a message for request to take the test. I also drove up there because I live close, and there's nobody there. So that was I go to a meeting with Fred Heller, who asked me to do some work for him, to the operations officer, Mr. Simonson and Mr. Friday, I think your names are. And some guy from the solicitor's office would not let Mr. Stroud, a newspaper reporter, into the meeting. I explained my complaints to Mr. Simeon and Mr. Friday, and asked, why do I have to take a test when the code officials don't inspect it anyway? They said it's a city ordinance. I explained that because of your fees and the test and the license, it's an extra $325 for anybody I would do a job for in Wilkes-Barre. In other words, if someone call me up and say, I need my steps fixed, and it's a $200 job, I gotta charge them $525 because of your guys' policies. I hope you guys see this. Now, there's no other towns doing this stuff, just you guys. I explained my complaints, and I showed them my former grant license, I showed them my PA home improvement license, and they said they'll accept some of it, but the others they won't. I don't understand that. So after that meeting, I interviewed Mr. Staub, and he put the newspaper article out that people should have a right to know what's going on in Wilkes-Barre. And because of that, I'll just continue. So anyway, Friday, March 4th, I get a call from the Montage office. They say they don't give masonry tests, and they never did. So I drive up there and I asked them for a statement to that effect. They said they don't give statements. So I called the police up and I got a police report saying they don't give masonry tests. Now I still don't have a masonry test. So after I get the police report, I go to the operations office. I see Mr. Simeon. I show him the paper to prove that there's no test. So then I asked for a receipt. So Mr. Simeon took the report into this guy, who comes in and he goes like this. After 5 minutes, we don't give anybody receipts. That's what's going on.
You have less than a minute. Keep
I
going.
understand. I believe because of the newspaper report, my complaints that make it hard on me because I complained. I'm also getting a runaround. I can't get a test and I can't get a license. When I call the police, Sergeant Sheridan says they ain't giving you a police report because there's no crime. You gotta go to the magistrate's office. I'll just finish up quick. So I want to tell the council that when I went to the license office, there was no log signing sheet. Nothing down there. There's no pamphlets or contractors or homeowners' rights pamphlets. There's no consumer notices. There's no privacy statements. There's no pamphlets on how to obtain a license. There's no copies of your ordinance, rules, regulations, or complaint forms, and your website is out of date. Now, I believe because I complained, the city's personally, you guys are making it harder, not you guys personally, but the city itself is making me harder on getting a license. And you guys know under section 1980 of the law that you're responsible for policy, practice, and customs. I feel that my rights have been violated. I feel your policies like you interfere with my right to contract. I have a right to make a living, and I have a right to complain. So I
Any
don't know.
questions from anyone here? Mr.
You
Barrett, go ahead.
mentioned that if you were doing a job for someone at Wilkes-Barre, this is assuming you already had your license, or you acquired your license. I'm assuming that's what you're talking about. You mentioned a $200 job would be $500. Why would that be?
Because I have to take a test, it costs $150, and then I have to get a license in Wilkes-Barre, it costs an extra $175. Or if I did it in DuPont or I did it in Boca, it's nothing because I go with the PA Home Improvement Act.
Well, that's assuming that you're taking a test and going through all of that to do one $200 job, which is certainly,
Yeah, I'm using it as a scenario,
well.
but I've had offers to work.
I don't think that you would put all of that on one particular customer if you plan to do it for most of the treatment with one job. That's all I understand. Thank you.
Anything else? Okay, thank you.